Hey family, Willie Mo Jr. here. Excited about this particular show. You know why? Because you're here. Okay? Listen, I am so thankful for everybody who's been watching the show, sharing the show, commenting on the show. Here's the thing. In this particular moment, I don't know how long it's going to be this way, but I look at every single comment. You know why? Because I'm wanting to know what you like. I want to know what you dislike. Some of you guys, honestly, if I can be real, you get a little petty Pablo, okay? But I appreciate all communication. So do me a favor. No matter how good, no matter how unique, leave a comment. Share this with as many people as possible. And also subscribe. To all of my Willie Mo Jr. show watchers and listeners, I honor you. You've been doing a really good job of spreading the word. And I just want to show honor today and tell you how much I appreciate you. Click that little subscribe button for your nephew here. All right. Family, the man who's hanging out with me today, I'll tell you what, just probably one of the most amazing voices in music in the whole. And here's the thing. I gotta make sure that he's not a vampire because it doesn't seem like he's aging. And I'm questioning how he's doing it and where the fountain of youth is. I'm praying. The one and only Kenny LATTIMORE is hanging out with me now. What's going on, champion?
What's happening, my brother?
Man, I ain't never had it so good. Man, it's good to see you.
Yes, sir. You too.
So before we get started, what's the fountain of youth? What's the eating habits? Like, what we doing? Because I looked at an old picture. Put that on B-roll. Yeah, and this picture, it looks, it looks the thing. Like, are we vegan? Like, what are we doing?
Oh my gosh, live a clean life.
Clean life,
man. As much as in music and in the industry, we think about all the partying and all the different. I look after this body, this temple.
Yeah.
I'm not putting certain things in it. I'm getting a whole lot of sleep. Sleep is a real big thing. You know, particularly for singing too, because this is just a muscle. I try to make sure I get my rest, drink my water, which I probably don't drink enough.
Yeah.
And then you can get some exercise in, although on the stage it's a little cardio.
Right.
Do a little cardio on the stage because a lot of people, if you've not seen me do a live show, I know because of people knowing For You and the ballads, probably think I just stand there, but I don't. I'm one of them guys. It's like I walk the stage, I'm all over the place. Yeah. So I think all of that kind of works together. God just, blessed me also with great genes from great parents.
Come on, genes from great parents. Listen, Kenny, traditionally on the show, we like to do an icebreaker. And today's no different.
Okay. And
we like to do it with music. Okay. The Love You More show also has a Love You More series where it's loosely based upon a little bit of my life, a little bit of my divorce process, a little bit of my healing.
Okay.
And on this particular song/skit, I'm coming out of a funeral and I meet with my Uncle G, and we get in the car, and we begin to talk about a turning point in my life, like a point where I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna make it this time. Things are gonna be different than it was the last time. Bring your attention to the screen. I want you to check this out. When I left that church, my life had changed forever. I realized that moments quickly become memories, so it's important that you spend great moments with your loved ones because you just don't never know. Speaking of loved ones, I was getting picked up by one of my favorite but not so favorite uncles, Uncle G. I mean, he old school, drive a Cadillac, hat to the back, and he knock-kneed as hell, but he's still a good guy. He sometimes joke too quick, but the truth is, he's exactly what I needed during this time to bring me back to earth. He walks up and he says, "Oh, you all right, son?" I'm like, "It's tough." He continues, "I know it, but it's a part of life." He says, "Don't worry about a thing, he's in a better place." That's true. You know I'm crazy, right? I don't know why they say in a better place, he in a box. But you see I got you laughing already. Laughter is healing for the soul. No matter what it is, laugh it off. Keep laughter in your life no matter what you do, okay? Now get your punk ass in the car. What? Get your ass in the car, Junior. Wow. See, a lot of people don't understand the game, you know what I'm saying? There's no stability in this, dog. All you living off of is a dream, you know what I'm saying? If people don't buy your music, you don't eat, man. So it do get hard for you sometimes, you heard me? I'm gonna tell you though, for real. Steady striving for stardom, wanting fortune and fame. On my face I'm smiling, in my heart is pain.
I believe we all get tested, go through hell to get our blessings.
I promise at times I wanna break down.
No one understands me.
This time I'm going up, ain't going back down.
If you believe it will be.
Taking proper precautions, times is getting harder. Do what we gotta do to feed our sons and daughters. You wanted a survivor, then you got your one. You just told me to claim it, and that's all I done.
Living in my city street, nobody cares for me.
Oh, oh.
Somebody pray for me, cause I got a destiny.
Oh, oh, oh.
I'm just a man with a dream, striving for the finer things.
Oh, oh.
But this is my turning point.
I'm getting everything I want. The name of the song is Turning Point. Preferably may be available soon. I don't know when they're gonna do it, but shout out to George Wallace for being one of our amazing guests, man. Thanks, bro.
Hey, that's my pleasure.
So the term is turning point.
Yeah.
And you know, after love, in one season of your life,
Mm-hmm.
you decided to get married again
Mm-hmm.
to the one and only Judge Faith,
Mm-hmm.
and now you have a beautiful daughter, Skylar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when did you know that it was time to actually move on and get that turning point? And what things did you put in place to make sure that mistakes prior wouldn't come into this relationship?
Wow. It took, after ending one relationship, I didn't really date seriously for almost 7 or 8 years.
Jeez.
I went through a period where I wanted to make sure I was healed,
Mhm.
that I was healthy, and that I understood who I was and what I thought would make me better. So I remember reading a book at one time. One of my friends, Monica Koss, was writing a book, and she gave it to me called, it was something about sneezing. Well, the things I used to make me sneeze. And it was about living authentically, because she had this thing where she'd grow up, when she grew up as a kid, she liked the sensation of sneezing, something physically, you know.
Yeah.
And so she'd take pepper or whatever and try to make herself sneeze for whatever that sensation was. So she used that to speak about authentic living.
Mhm.
And she had this list in there, and it was talking about what are your core values. And I thought about it for a minute. Now, we as men look at things for our businesses usually. It's like, well, my core values for my business are this. But personally and emotionally, a lot of times we don't talk about those kind of things.
Yeah.
So I had to think about who was I, what was I planning to walk into in this next season of my life. So I started saying, this is what's important to me, and these are things that I think are good things about me. Then it was like, what are the little quirks too? I'm one of those guys that's like extremely neat. My mind is organized, which I think helps me to multitask, if you will, because I'm not a general multitasker. Again, for we as men, most of us probably are not multitaskers. Like women, your brains are created differently. Yeah, you can handle all these different things at one time, and I know you get frustrated because we can't.
Right.
But when you understand, but when you understand that, nope, that's not the way God made me, and you know, He designed you as a woman to be able to handle certain things, and He designed me as a man to handle other types of things that you really don't want to do either. Yeah. And so in complementing one another, I thought, okay, well, let me figure out how I can expose the things that could get on her nerves, or you know what, and are these things who I am, or are they things that I just do? Use all those kind of things. I started dissecting myself, you know, and also embracing who I was. Like, okay, if my mind is an organized mind, I'm good with that. I'm an organized mind. So when I walk in the room and people ask me who I am, I'm not just a singer.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times, again, as men, we identify ourselves by what we do as a job. But no, I'm that father. I love God. I'm honest. I'm fairly transparent in wisdom. And and then there's, you know, all these great characteristics that I of love of family and trustworthy and confidential and all. I mean, lots of different words that I had to embrace to describe me. And once I wrote all those things out, I said, well, when I'm having the conversation, when I find somebody worthy to have that conversation with, I will reveal that these are all the things that define who I am.
No, I love it.
And that was part of my healing. The other part was letting go of anger. Because I don't think I have many issues with forgiveness in general. But sometimes when things happen, you wonder why. I think that's what you talk to me. Why did this happen? Why did this person do this? Why? And through the years, though, God began to reveal to me, the whys,
Right.
because the whys are important, but they're important when you can really digest them, when you can handle the real answer.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, though, if we stick to a broader perspective, the purpose is so great.
Yeah.
And God uses all these different things to get us to that purpose. But I speak about marriage and and relationships a lot of times, and on platforms with my wife now. And people ask me about divorce, and I realized that God's purpose was here, but there is an enemy of our soul that is trying to abort that purpose on a consistent basis. And if we understand that, we don't have to be mad with the folks that we divorced from. We don't have to be mad about whatever the process is and who was involved. We just have to understand strategy and be not ignorant of these different devices that the enemy comes with. I don't care how severe they are or what have you, or what you feel in the moment. I had to realize that the enemy wanted to abort anybody listening to my voice right now. He wanted to abort you receiving whatever I have to say, because I speak to not only marriage people, but I also mentor young men. What is the seemingly surefire way to destroy his influence?
Yeah.
Question character, question motivation, question everything about the purpose. But when you stay in purpose, you get to your purpose.
Why didn't Kenny defend himself?
Well, I think that for the most part, I watched an example of Jesus. And when people talked about Jesus, what did he do? He went to the folks that loved him, his disciples that were close to him. He said, "Who do men say I am?" Well, what are they saying about me? Wow. Oh, that's what they saying about me? Okay. Who do you say I am? Oh, okay. You know who I am. Okay, then let's go to purpose. Let's get back to purpose.
Yeah.
There was no point. As a matter of fact, when you think about being a person of influence, for me to defend myself gives actually more credence and power to what a person has to say than moving forward and just living. Is it easy? No.
Oh.
But defending yourself that's God's job anyway. Yeah. But defending yourself is not easy either. You kind of choose your hard. I chose, it's all going to be hard. Yeah. But I chose a hard that was chosen through wisdom, through, and not my wisdom, but I was surrounded by a lot of great people of wisdom who kept saying, I don't care how angry you are today, because that will come and go. I'm angry today. No, I don't really care today. Well, I'm gonna do this. You go through all these different arrays of emotions, and they do not say anything. Yeah, don't say it. And when you have people who love you, that's what Jesus did. He went to find the people who he knew loved him. Yeah, you give that energy and that space to be poured into those people. Yeah, as opposed to, I know nowadays on the social media, you hear all kinds of, oh, I knew this was happening. Yeah. I knew that. And people, you did? Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. Right. I'm living it. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah. Or, you find people that they get angry for you.
Yes. And defend.
And they defend you, or they carry the anger. And it's like, wait a minute, how can you be more angry about what I'm going through than me? Right. I'm the one that's actually going through this. How can you be more? Yeah. But you realize that everyone has different processes. It's just like when you get married again, if you choose to get married again, we laugh about taking information to our family members. Yeah. Because when you're in an intimate relationship, there's all kind of ebbs and flows and highs and lows. When you give that to some people who are not able to navigate those emotions and feelings with you, what happened? You tell your sister, oh, my wife said such and such. What she did? She said, blah, blah, blah. your sister may never
Ever.
come back from that. So then y'all make up and y'all good, but your sister's still over here in her feelings. But you did this to my brother, you know.
Yeah.
So it's interesting communication
Yeah.
through the processes of whatever transition that
Yeah.
you go through is so important, and who you're communicating with.
You know, and here's the thing, you know, like I literally come on this platform to learn, you
Mhm.
know. I went through a crazy 3-year process of divorce. Didn't know I had anything until I went through divorce.
Mhm.
And I gotta ask, like, what did you do with the anger? Like, where did you place it? Like, what was that, you know, what was that process? Like, what did you do with the anger?
Oh, I had my private moments
Mhm.
where I was angry. I talked it out though.
Got it.
Some people will go to therapy, to a therapist to talk
Mhm.
about it. I did go to some therapy,
Mhm.
but for the most part, I again used those that were around me that I loved, and I probably said a lot of wrong things.
Right,
And I said some right things and some wrong things.
Man,
though.
these right.
And after you give all of that, you know, you people that love you, they'll give you a little time for that.
Mhm.
And then the same people that love you, one of them had to come to me. Actually, he was, I'm going to tell you, his name is Terrence Wade. I told him, I said, I'm going to let people know that sometimes you think that it has to be some great mentor that comes and, or somebody older or what have you. But this gentleman at the time was a younger gentleman who was my assistant.
Mm.
And we were sitting there, we were talking about something. And the Lord spoke to him and he said to me, Kenny, don't tell that story anymore. Don't talk about that anymore. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
He said, it's not progressive for you.
Amen.
It doesn't describe who you truly are. But the more you say it, even though it's just us, it takes you out of the place and respect that I know you to be and where you really live
Mhm.
in terms of your character.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And that's all you need is one piece of wisdom spoken to you sometimes.
Yeah.
When you can receive it. It was just it was
It's the
the
right
perfect timing
Mhm. The time.
where I had gotten some of that out of my system.
Mhm.
You do have to get out of your system because I'm a human being.
Yeah.
So getting that out had to be, again, with the right person.
Mhm.
And then second, you know, because again, you want to be able to make mistakes. And I did. I made tons of mistakes and I was angry and again, said a lot of things. But I got to a place where when he said that to me, I was able to receive it. And I said, you know what? I can let it go now because he's right.
Mm-hmm. That's real. That's real. Family, listen, I don't know. What I want you to do, just real quick, in the comments, put that person in the comments that you know you can actually speak to, who has the right to check you, right? Who can
Yes, Lord.
literally speak to your heart when they know you about to go off a cliff and say, that's the wrong turn. Put their name in there because many times we forget who they are when we're going through these crazy, unique experiences and opportunities, right?
Yeah.
I'll say that. Put their name there, and I want you to tattoo that in your heart. Because here's the thing: we're gonna have ebbs and flows, ups and downs in our life. But if we have their name tattooed in our heart, we actually know that, hey, I can call this person, and they're actually gonna tell me right from wrong. And make sure you subscribe to this channel, Kenny. So here's the thing: now you move from hurt, habits and small hangups to healed. You sitting there, you like, okay, I think I'm ready. Or
Yep.
was there a moment, or did it just organically come and you was like, I think I'm ready to actually see someone now?
Yeah, it kind of organically comes. Like
Okay.
you walking down the street and then attractions start happening. The different types of attraction. It's
Yeah,
not just
'cause
a physical attraction.
Yeah,
It's like, okay.
I'm just pissed at this point. Hey,
Yeah.
how you doing? I'm fine. I'm
Right.
doing well. God
Right,
bless you.
exactly.
No, I don't want to do nothing. Praise the Lord. Oh, y'all got something wrong. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
you definitely go through that.
Yeah, like,
So when you're free enough to be like, wait a minute, she a little different. You know, this is a little different.
yeah.
And you realize you're in that space.
Mhm.
Then it was like, okay, cool. I dated. I dated, probably broke some hearts really in the process because it wasn't like, I'm ready now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm ready, I think.
Nah.
And then I started going into the process and it was like, okay, some things were familiar.
Yeah.
Some things were new. So the process was the first dating I went on, I'll never forget, I turned around to the young lady and I said, you know what? I appreciate you because you are, you're validating me as a man.
Mm-hmm.
You're pouring into me right now. And even if we don't become whatever,
Mm-hmm.
just know that what you've been to me right now is valuable. And I appreciate you.
KD,
And she just looked at me like,
Kenny put him down so smooth.
No, and no, that was at the beginning too.
Oh, okay.
I said, I think I'm in a place where I'm open right now and we're out and I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
I just needed to be in a healthy space.
Yeah.
In a healthy dating space. And what that looked like was no expectations, just a conversation. But again, I needed this woman pouring into me, telling me, you know what, you are an amazing guy. And you're all like some things that we take for granted.
Yeah.
I needed those things to be said to me by the right person at the right time.
Yeah.
But the only thing about the process is that was just that. It wasn't my forever relationship. I just needed that. So the part of the healing was just that particular time where that person was speaking into my life. And then the next period, it was somebody else that came that I was dating, and they gave me another piece of maybe where I had been wounded. And they began to, apply some kind of healing until I felt like, okay, I'm really whole now.
So it wasn't like alone. There were people who were able to kind of come in and, help out with the process. Because a lot
absolutely.
of the Bible says it's not good for man to be alone.
Yeah.
And then I'm kind of in this place where I'm like, no, I just kind of want to be alone. And I'm like, what the word says, but I want to take time for myself, like be alone for a period. But then when you did open up, you're like, okay, this person played this role. And looking back on it, it's like, oh, all of it was necessary.
All of it was necessary.
So for me, KD, we laugh at it all the time. I'm like, man, I don't want nothing spicy. Give me mild chicken.
Yeah.
I put my own spice on it.
Right.
Like, no, I don't need all that spicy and sass and all that. Kenny, you've been mild-mannered since the first time I met you, just kind of cool, calm, and collected. And of course, we haven't shared spaces, like hanging out and all of that. And I'm sure there's a part of you that has like a whole lot of fun and what have you. But what was it about this spicy judge who's on television and you being this really, kind of cool guy, except when you get on stage, you're going to rock with how you rock. Like, what was it about her that checked all the boxes in your heart that made you say,
I didn't know the television show.
Okay.
During the time that her show was extremely popular, I had heard of it before, but I just didn't know it.
Yeah.
And
did she take offense to that?
No, because actually she knew who I was, but she didn't know my new music or whatever either.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh yeah, I remember him from college or whatever. I remember Never Too Busy for You or whatever. And I was like, oh, whoa, that was the beginning of my career. That was a long time ago.
Right.
But I think it was important that we respected one another on a level that had nothing to do with celebrity or our careers. So I just know the woman that I sat down with and had lunch, and we start talking, as opposed to, oh wow, yeah, she's quick-witted and I knew she was smart. And,
where did you meet?
Different things. We met literally through Aaron Lindsay.
Oh, that's my guy.
Yeah, Aaron Lindsay.
I love Aaron.
Introduced us. He had gone on to the Judge Faith show as an expert witness or something, and they connected. And he called me one day and he said, are you ready right now are you in the space where you're open? Because I don't want to. Aaron is very cautious and he's very respectful.
And he's listening to the good Lord.
Yeah,
too.
And he was like, I'm not trying to push you faster than you need to go, anything like that. But there's somebody who, he was like, I see sound waves almost, like Pro Tools sound waves, and you guys are on the same wave.
Yeah.
And he said, I want to introduce you. And I was like, yep. Yeah, I was like, yeah, come on. I was like, come on. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm
ready
open.
now. Yeah. And
I was in a whole different space at that time where I was having fun. I was just really having fun. Yeah. And when we met, we talked for, hours, and the friendship began and we developed from there. So.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, when you go through all of this stuff, it's kind of like anything that triggered, I'm like, oh, they kind of feel like, no, I'm good. And so I'm like, maybe I'm not ready. So I want to maybe take some time to just kind of heal my heart. I was adopted. So I never met anybody in my biological family. So I almost have this clinginess towards love, and struggle through codependency.
Okay.
where I'll give so much of myself and like almost lose myself in a relationship just because I'm attempting to, like, I'm gonna take care of everything. You don't have to work. I got this. I'll clean, I'll cook, I'll do whatever you need to do. Like almost trying to win love and, you know,
but
fighting
the fact
over
that you're able to say that about yourself
yeah.
is so important because you enter a relationship that way. Even if you're not jumping into a full relationship, the fact that you're able to have that conversation and that transparency, I think helps the process. For me, I had to say, I was deathly shy growing up. And the way that I communicated, I was one, I'd walk on eggshells too. I was a pleaser.
Yeah.
Not a people pleaser. I had to have that conversation with somebody so that I'd understand what this meant, this term. But a pleaser where I like seeing people happy. Yeah. As an entertainer, I love to see people smile and react and have, you know, and feel good. So in the past, I had walked on eggshells in relationships trying to make everything happy all the time. And then I realized that was not healthy. So then I was able to, in my new relationship, walk in and say, look, I walked on eggshells before. My new thing for Kenny is I'm going to tell you.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you what I don't like. Yeah. I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to be diplomatic.
I'm going to be nice. I'm going to say it.
I'm going to say it. Yeah. I'm going to say it nice, but I'm going to let you know because there are things that were just unacceptable that I dealt with, you know.
So did you write that down when you were discovering yourself? Was that something that you was like, I'm very cognizant of who I am. I'm going to put this down. Like, these are my borders as I go into this new relationship.
That I did not do. You know what happened to me? The beauty of interviews like this. I know that people listening and looking and watching this might think, oh yeah, he has it all figured out and he's speaking from that standpoint, but it really isn't. As we're having this conversation, there are different things that might come up right now that I go, ooh, when I did that interview with Willie Moore Jr., I felt like, and you take it with you to the next thing. I did that on the Tammy Mack show. I was asked a question on the spot and I was like, and I thought I had to think about what do I want to give the people? Because when you're interviewing, again, every space is not a safe space. Yes. To say everything.
Exactly.
So you have to always interview and walk in wisdom. But I realized in the interview, in that moment, she said, what would you do differently this time than last? And I said, And I had an answer. And because I try to analyze myself. I'm fairly analytical. I try to do that on a consistent basis. And I said, oh my gosh, I need to be more honest in how I feel and communicate, which is still something that we as men, some of us do, some of us don't.
We're not, wrong.
Or we do it wrong. We don't know how to empty our emotions in a healthy way and deal with them. So sometimes stuff will be going on. We'd be like, oh girl, go on with that, you know, whatever. As opposed to actually having a conversation and articulating, you put a little spice, as you mentioned, on that. Wow, that made me feel like this.
Yeah, it made me feel.
So I started, like in my relationship now, I'll tell my wife, I'll say, that felt confrontational. I said, I don't know that that's what your intent is. Yeah. And I try not to jump to a conclusion that she wants to fight. You know, that's because that can't be possible unless in a great, healthy relationship. Yeah. So I know that's not where you want to come from. But I was like, these words or whatever that you just said, that feels a little confrontational.
Yeah, that feels confrontational to me.
And then we just go from there so that it's a healthy conversation.
So now, even though you look 36, 35, I know that
thank you.
You know what I'm saying? I know you're now 49, 50 now, right?
Okay, yeah.
So now at this age, now you got a little baby Skylar. Like I'm in my 40s and I got a little baby Paisley. Like there were so many things. I always tell people, Khalil, I love you to life. He's 21 years old now. You know I love you,
KJ, my son.
Yeah, like
I got that one too.
Yes, I'm like, we grew up together.
Yeah.
I was like, we were building business together. He was in nightclubs in the back. I was like, put a security guard on Khalil. He's right there.
Right.
I got to go lay your body down. I'm
Yeah.
coming right back. Put a gun on him. Make sure nobody touches him. You know, thought I was a gangster.
Yeah.
But now I have Paisley and life is a lot different. Khalil's looking at these babies like, you'll never know what ramen noodles are. You don't know nothing about that little condo we stayed in. You ever heard of peanut butter? You know, that's how he is. Like, who is Kenny now as a father to this new baby girl, Skylar?
Wow. It's so different.
Yeah.
It's so different just raising a boy versus the girl and the
Yeah.
emotional attachment and all of that, where what I felt like I had to give KJ was different.
Mhm.
And even now I'm like, okay, son, I'm raising you to be a decision maker.
Yes.
This is what you need to know. What do you think?
Mhm.
I want to hear how, you know, this is what I think, but what do you think and why? And all I'm like there with him.
Mhm.
Whereas I'm sure I will be that way with Skylar to a degree, but I have to watch it and make sure that I balance out the emotions of what you need, baby. Come on,
Yeah.
you know, you feel
Yeah.
like I need to, you know, I feel like I need to take care of her
Exactly.
in a different way.
Mhm.
That I don't want it to stunt her being an independent woman.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's one now, so I get to relish in the fun of seeing her. So I can be as goofy and silly as I ever wanted to be.
Yeah.
And nobody looks at me strange when I come in and I make up a song. And so it was like when I walk in the house, I go,
Yeah.
hi, Skylar. Hi, you know, and I go all out.
Yeah.
And it is.
And she can
it's
receive
so
that
fun.
love.
And she just looks at me like, who is this silly man?
Yeah.
Who is he?
Yeah. Like Paisley, I believe Paisley was designed for me to place my love somewhere that was safe.
Ah.
And you know, like, I know that may be unhealthy to psychologists who watch, but I just feel so safe. Like, I just feel like I can just dump it here and we just having a really, really good time. And the other day, we were getting in the car. So it was just a small place, so don't call the police. But she was like, Dad, can I ride in the front? We were going right, like, to the gas station right next door. And I said, sure, baby, but let me open your door. And I get the door, and then I put the seatbelt on. We're going like 0.2 miles. And then she was about to get out, and I said, no, baby, let me get your door. She said, Daddy, why do you get my door? I said, because you're a queen. She said, I'm a queen? I said, yeah, baby, you're a queen. And any man who honors and respects you will always get your door. She said, she took my hand and she started doing her hair. And I just seen something that was a tattoo on her heart that said, oh, this is the way a man is supposed to treat a woman. Has there ever been a moment in your life where you looking at this little girl like, I'm going to treat you this way to make sure that every man knows how to treat my little girl?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't have one particular moment because, again, she's young.
Yeah,
I can't wait to have those interactions.
Yeah.
That's going to be so fun.
Yeah, I just say yes to everything. I had a pray
all
about
right.
that. Yeah.
But you know what's interesting is the hope that Paige gives you that this kind of love still exists.
Yeah.
I think that's what that daughter brings. So that if you ever decided, because whoever you're with was Paige at one time. And the only thing that happened is life. And so, and they may have taken her in different directions, which Paige will go in different directions, and she'll have to stand her ground for the things that you've taught her. And she'll have to, just navigate how much she wants to compromise as whoever she loves grows with her. It's the same process that your wife or wife to be, whoever, girlfriend, whoever goes through. It's the same thing. We have to sometimes see the face of that girl when we're interacting.
Yeah.
So when I look at Skylar and I even think of her mom, the kind of goofiness and attention that I give to Skylar, sometimes I got to go, wait a minute. I got to give that to her mom too. I've got to be like, that same kind of energy and the same kind of compassion and patience. Oh my gosh, the patience that we have to give. I have to give that same thing at home to her mom.
So how do we not go to the, like, you grown now, baby. You got to be able to, you know what I'm saying? Because I've heard that. And now that I hear you say it, like, I dang near got to go apologize to some people. Like, honestly, I got to go apologize because I'm like, no, baby, that's a baby. You grown. You should have had that together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I grew up with 2 ex-sharecroppers here. We just said how we feeling. And I was so wrong. So I just want to apologize because I know you're probably watching. And but that is so good. And I don't know why I accept it from you. Like, that's true.
I mean, there's a balance to it all,
Yeah.
which is great. There's temperance in everything.
Yeah, I ain't had no balance, man.
Now, so if sometimes life calls for you to say, wait a minute, yeah, you've lived long enough to know.
Right.
I don't think there's anything wrong with either of those perspectives if they're in balance. But I think for us, a lot of times what I learned in relationships is more about me than the other person. Sure, it's like, oh yeah, these things are probably how you are because of, but I try not to put myself in a position to really think I know the inner workings of their hearts completely. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't. But I know me. So I have to approach them from the standpoint of what can I do to assist in you being the best you?
To assist.
Yeah, to assist you in being the best you. Yeah.
I love it.
And to love you into being the best you and support you in your visions and dream with you and all those kind of things. So that's where Faith and I are. We have so much fun dreaming together and accomplishing. Write stuff down. We vision board and stuff that I didn't, I did maybe as a child. I don't know if you ever did that. I think they used to make us vision board when we were little in elementary school. And everything on my board has come to pass.
Yes.
It's a powerful thing. But when you get together as a couple, it was interesting and creative to vision board with Faith and go, here's the house and here's the car and here's the accomplishments and here's whatever words you put on there and just watch it come. It just gave us more things to bond about.
Man, Kenny make me want to do it one more time. I was like, no, I'm just going to keep it.
Choose your heart, though.
Choose your heart.
Choose your heart.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean, that's a real thing with everybody because sometimes we get into the romance about it and then people go, well, marriage is work. But it's that kind of work. Are you willing to be a servant to another person? Mm-hmm. Because in a relationship, I love being a servant husband. And I'm not saying that I do everything she wants. That's not it. But my heart is to serve her again and to make our lives amazing. Mm-hmm. So the work is sacrificing. Oh, yep, I got to get out of bed. See, some things we think of the man stuff is, oh, yeah, let me get out the bed and check. There was a bump downstairs. I got to hear that. Or I got to take the trash out. Or I got to do whatever. But when you start to really get into the inner workings of who she is, and you find out what makes her work and what really supports her, it's dying to self. It's dying to self and going, you know what? Okay, I'm going to try to do something. But at the same time, it's being honest. And I've tried to be brutally honest. This is what I learned about me again. Mm-hmm. Be brutally honest about who I am and unapologetic about who I am. Mm-hmm. So I'll tell you another thing that I am, because of my career, because of my body and all that, I am a sleeper.
You're going to go to bed.
I am going to get to sleep because I know what I'm going to sound like. I know how I'm going to treat you. Yeah. I know how I'm going to treat our baby and all of that if I sleep. And I know what's going to happen if I don't. Oh, man, sometimes I don't get much at all, like on the flights. But if I lay I have to allow my body to tell me. Oh, See, a lot of times I got my 8 hours in and I'm up. And it's like, no, not in this career. Mm. There are times when I may need 6 hours and I'm up. I might need 10. And get up and to actually recoup from some of the stuff because we don't live realistic. Like now, if I was living a 9 to 5,
I don't live a 9 to 5.
It'd be great. I don't live a 9 to 5.
That's right.
There are times when I might be working almost 24 hours.
Yes. And
traveling and all of those 24 to 36 hours and then get off and do something unrealistic. So there are times when I have to go, okay, I can't rush back home because I don't have anything to give you. I don't have anything to give you when I get back home. But if I just take an extra couple hours or a day to recuperate when I come back home, I have everything to give you. But I had to be honest with myself and say that I'm going to give myself that grace.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh God, I'm guilty. I need to get back home because of, I'm not going to live my life feeling like I have to to push myself to that point, I had to be honest about what does Kenny really need to be his best for you?
Yeah. Kenny, that's why you came here. That man done ministered to my heart. KD, that's what Kenny, listen, we got to talk music real quick.
Yes.
You done had a Billboard #1, came back, and then of course your new song now is like #5 and #6 on the Billboard charts. R&B has always been your niche, and you've always been able to do it. Like, how does it feel now to be able to be in this body with #1s versus, being this kid with millions of people coming at you? Like, what's the difference now?
It's a sign that I really love what I do. Yeah, it really is, because and it's a confirmation that I love what it does for me. Yeah. It's all. I still love the creative process. I love performing. I love singing. And what I had to learn was to take lessons from the new generation. Yeah. Take lessons from the new producers that are coming in and let them teach me what the new adult wants to hear. Because the new adult may have been 5 years old when For You came out, and they're 30 or something right now, and they're falling in love and getting married, and they're discovering this song. Who sing this For You song? Yeah. So then for me to have new material 25, 30 years later and to have it rise to the top of the charts is completely validating from an industry and business standpoint, but at this and learning that the music can be promoted and received well, but at the same time, it just makes me feel like I'm in it because I really truly love it.
Yeah. No, I love it. And so I don't, I think we was talking a little bit offline. Of course, I don't know much, about, what God's gonna do. But as we were sitting here, I seen you with, earlier today, I just seen you like with this suit, like this, it was like strings and symphonies and opera and
he started prophesying. I was like, what?
No, like really like a really international thing. And then there's like acting that continues to grow too. Just like everything that you ever dreamed of goal-wise, just because of the heart posture. I just see it like different. Like even in this moment, I thank God that you're being faithful with what you have done for so many years. This was almost a sign from God to say, hey, I'm still with you, because there was a confidence lack in what you thought you could do at this big age with all the stuff that has happened. And what God has now done is giving you the confirmation that is necessary for you to do all of the part that you said that stuck out to me the most is you coming in being as quirky as you want it to be with your daughter. That's the part that God is going to bring to the stage. As quirky as you want it to be in the orchestra. And I wanted to be in Australia. And I wanted to do it in England. And I wanted to do it here. And you know what I want to do? I wanted to do comic books. And I also wanted to do this. And like, there's going to be a perpetual group of people who are going to dream with you, believe in you. The only part that I see right now is there's trust. Right? Like for this new team, it's going to require a different level of relinquishing duty because life is just too heavy to do it. And what you got to know is that God won't allow what happened last time to happen in this season. And so we used to fighting like this, but God is saying in this season for Kenny Lattimore, you now have to fight like this. And what this is I receive. I just, okay, not that one, but my hands are open for whatever's new. There's a lot of group of people who will be around you. It's a bigger team. Like there's a bigger team of people who are going to come and they don't look like us. And that's okay, right? Like you now have created a reputation in the movie industry, the television industry. And so when you get these amazing calls, just know that you are fully equipped, that you are honored in those roles. And when those little voices tell you different things, you like, no. He's already proven to me. I have the empirical data that shows that right now I'm at the best time of my life. Last thing that I got to give you before we get out of here. You are a C personality. You dot every I and you cross every T. I'm an I personality. I don't dot every I and I don't cross every T. I'm going to talk to everybody in the room and I'm going to be here until it all ends. You're a C personality, but nobody argues with a C personality because you've done the research. You've thought this thing out. You have figured out the best plan of action. If we were on a plane, you are air traffic control. And nobody argues with air traffic control, which means your power of discernment, your power of discernment in research is definitely the right answer.
Mm.
So even if people like me
Mhm.
and other people may not understand that move,
Mhm.
you can trust your voice
Mm.
because that's who God made you.
Wow.
And I'm thankful for you, bro.
Wow, I
You have
appreciate
blessed
that.
me
I
so
appreciate
much
it.
today. Like, I don't even think you understand. Like, of course, we've talked on the phone. Like, I think the last time we talked was the longest we've ever talked.
Mhm.
But I never knew, like, how much you could bless me as a
Mm.
man, bro. And I'm not
Mm.
saying that just because of cameras there. Like, I would say this offline.
Mm.
Like, there were so many things in this conversation
Mm.
that got me unstuck in my heart
Mm.
to receive again.
Mm.
Like, because it kept playing on my primal wound. You do
Mhm.
one thing, like, it's not that I won't love you, but I'll slowly put a block around my heart, and I will slowly remove myself from the situation without
Yeah.
being forthright with people.
Mm.
But I'm gonna leave this mug. I'm gonna be upfront.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be honest.
Because that's what passive aggressive to do.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I've been there too.
Yeah, I'm so passive
and we
aggressive.
can be,
Yeah.
honest. Allowing ourselves to go through processes of growth is what's
Yeah.
important. I remember even for the career that I put out music at times that did not rise immediately
Mhm.
to the top. I put out music that was criticized heavily, and I was torn apart, and I felt like I didn't belong.
Yeah.
Which when I first came out, I didn't really belong in the industry,
Mhm.
even though I had done R&B music. For You was my biggest hit
Mhm.
at the time, and there was nothing R&B about For You,
Mm-hmm.
except that there was a black man singing it,
Mm-hmm.
which is a whole different
Yeah,
conversation.
definitely. For real.
But I had to accept again who I was amidst the criticism
Mm-hmm.
among the other artists that were being celebrated. And after all these years, to be on stages with some of the people who I admired, who they tore me up and said, you can't stand next to them right now. I can stand next to them in this season.
Yeah.
It's an interesting time because sometimes you have to wait for things to come around, and you have to wait for things to kind of shift where people understand your purpose again.
Yeah.
So remain in your purpose until you reach your purpose.
Man, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Family, listen, I want to challenge you to subscribe to this channel. And maybe you learned something. Maybe you put that in the comment. But to anybody under the sound of my voice, when you're looking at your dream clock and you realize the time is quote unquote getting away from you, ladies, I totally understand biological clocks, and I understand what that is like from a man's perspective. So I'm not talking about that clock. But maybe there's a dream, goal, or aspiration that you think, like, I'll probably never get there. Like, when I'm looking at these children, when I'm looking at the divorce, when I'm looking at my finances, when I'm looking at my team, the biggest thing that I've learned is that if you don't have a team for what you do, like, you need to be a part of a team that is doing what you would like to do. So maybe there's an opportunity for you to become a part of a team. What I've heard in this conversation is that the greatest among us will become servants, that we will serve. He even said, I'm a servant husband. And maybe there's an opportunity for you to not run the team, but serve the team. Maybe you can serve your family better. Maybe there's an opportunity for you to serve your gift better. Maybe there's an opportunity for you to serve your children better, your workplace better. I always tell you that when you are in a job, you're always auditioning for your next opportunity. That's why you get there early and you stay late. That's why Kenny is in Atlanta on a promo tour. And when he could really go, just left the stage, a huge stage. I cannot say which stage, but he just left a huge stage, but he understands the power of service. And I believe that's the key to longevity. When you want to get to the bag too quick, you miss the blessing of service. All right? Family, listen, I want to encourage you right now. Subscribe to this channel, comment, and make sure that you follow my brother, Kenny Lattimore. Thank you for watching the Love You More show, and make sure that you don't forget to love you more. Flat out.